Most of the things that we get recognized for in life, success in life, in every endeavor, whether or not it's school, relationships, sport, creative works of any kind, are always proportional to the amount of focus that we can bring that activity. It is important to rest, of course, to get proper sleep, but I stand behind that statement. And I leave you with that study about attention and cell phones and how cell phones are indeed eroding our attentional capacities. The day, circadian, is about 24-hour cycle. Well, our brain and body operate within that day, or within each and every day, I should say, with 90-minute ultradian cycles. So my suggestion would be anytime you're going to sit down and focus, you're going to try and do a focused bout of physical exercise or skill learning or musical learning, or maybe you're even just having a conversation. Maybe you're a therapist or you're attending therapy or a class. How long should it be? And the ideal duration is about 90 minutes. Not exactly 90 minutes, but we can reliably say 90 minutes or less. Everybody nowadays seems to have a smartphone. I'm sure there are a few individuals out there that don't have a smartphone. Nonetheless, most people have them. Most kids want one as soon as they can get them. And they are small. They grab our attention entirely. But within that small box of attention, there are millions of attentional windows scrolling by, right? So just because it's one device that we look at does not mean that we are focused. We are focused on our phone, but because of the way in which context switches up so fast within the phone, it's thought that the brain is struggling now to leave that rapid turnover of context, right? Many, many shows, many, many Instagram pages, many, many Twitter feeds, many, many websites. Basically, the whole world, at least in virtual format, is available within that small box. Your brain is the chief consumer of metabolic energy. The calories that you consume, the so-called basal metabolic rate, most of that isn't related to movement or heartbeat or breathing. It's related to brain function. Your brain is a glutton with respect to caloric need. And it's very important that after a bout of focus, that you take at least 10 minutes and ideally as long as 30 minutes and go through what I call deliberate defocus. You really want to focus on somewhat menial tasks or things that require a ton of your concentration. Have you noticed that wait times for restrooms in public places has increased substantially in the last 10 years? The reason for that is not digestive, okay? It's not the gut microbiome. I mean, it might be the gut microbiome, but chances are it's because people are on their phones in the bathroom. So within there, your attentional window is grabbing a near infinite number of bits of information, colors, movies. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, a movie is worth 1 billion pictures. The brain loves visual emotion. And so the question is, does that sort of interaction on a regular basis lead to deficits in the types of attention that we need in order to perform well in work and school relationships, etc.? And the short answer is yes. If you're an adolescent, limiting your smartphone use to 60 minutes per day or less, and if you're an adult, to 2 hours per day or less, is going to be among the very best ways to maintain your ability to focus at whatever level you can. There's a really cool way that you can explore the chemistry of your breathing and your bloodstream and the way that your brain works in ways that can really benefit your health. And it works the following way. You want to essentially sit or lie down, doesn't really matter. You definitely don't want to be anywhere near water. And what you want to do in this case is you're going to breathe in deep, so that's going to increase your heart rate, and then exhale passively by just letting air fall out of your mouth. So it would look something like this. So it's you breathe in vigorously and then you let the air just fall out of your mouth. I'm going to essentially demonstrate now. So it's inhale through the mouth. I am inhaling through the nose. So it's essentially, a 2 second or so inhale and then a 1 second or so exhale. And as I was doing that, I can kind of feel my face get flush and my body is heating up and my brain is heating up. What's happening there? Well, that pattern of breathing is increasing levels of adrenaline in my brain and body, and I'm getting more alert. Then after 25 or 30 of those, you exhale all your air. You dump all your air. You can do that with your nose or your mouth. And then you hold your breath with your lungs empty for about 15 to 30 seconds. A very interesting exploration of how you can shift the chemistry of your bloodstream by modulating your air, by modulating the mechanics of your diaphragm and lungs, and thereby shift the way your mind works. The best thing that anyone can do for their mental health, physical health, and performance in athletic or cognitive endeavors or creative endeavors is to make sure that you're getting enough quality sleep, enough of the time for you. One practice that is very effective at allowing you to focus better than you would otherwise under conditions of sleep deprivation is so-called non-sleep deep rest, or NSDR. This is also referred to sometimes as yoga nidra. Yoga nidra actually means yoga sleep. Yoga nidra is a practice of lying down for about 10 to 30, sometimes even as long as 60 minutes. You listen to a script. It's an audio script that takes you through a progressive deep relaxation. It involves a body scan, some long exhale breathing. It is very restorative in the sense that one tends to emerge from yoga nidra or NSDR feeling greatly refreshed compared to how you felt prior to it. Learn to dilate and contract your visual field consciously. This can be done if you practice it a little bit. And then, as I said before, it is very hard to get into a state of focus like a step function immediately, like snapping your fingers. What you can do is you can pick any object, but ideally an object at roughly the same distance, placed at roughly the same distance to which you're going to do that work, and stare at it. You're allowed to blink. And as your mind starts to drift every once in a while, to understand that's normal, but try and narrow your visual aperture and bring that into your visual field so that that's the most prominent thing. After doing that for 30 to 60 seconds, moving into the work that you're about to do, and really encourage yourself to do that. There is also terrific neuroimaging data from laboratories in Denmark showing that there's a restoration of dopamine levels in the so-called basal ganglia after NSDR, aka yoga nidra. Whether or not you call it yoga nidra or NSDR, which is what I refer to it as, non-sleep deep rest, you can find these scripts at zero cost. Multiple places. You can find there are certain apps that are NSDR or yoga nidra apps. In addition, I use low-level white noise. This is something that is supported by quality peer-reviewed data. It turns out that white noise, which is essentially all frequencies of sound, or all frequencies of sound that we can perceive, mixed up kind of randomly, there's no structure to it, turned on at a low volume, not with headphones most of the time, puts the brain into a state that's optimal for learning and workflow. And I covered 2 papers during that episode, one that showed that indeed, brain areas involved in attention, brain areas involved in focus and cognition and memory, those are engaged to a greater degree when there is low levels of white noise playing in the background. Have a practice each day of 10 to 30 minutes where you're not on your phone and you're in kind of a wordless state. You're just either yoga nidra or you're just relaxing or not watching anything, not taking in any sensory information, not meditating, not journaling, just trying to blank your mind. And just watch how much stronger you come back in terms of your ability to focus and your motivation.